In this lesson, we will explore the fundamentals of JSON, a widely accepted data format that applications use to send data back and forth to each other. You may have heard of the term JSON before, and yes, I agree, it does sound daunting, but I promise you it's really quite simple. By the end of this lesson, you will know what is JSON, why do apps and no-coders need to know JSON, what does a JSON object look like, and how do JSON objects work in practice. So what is JSON? JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it's the go-to data format for applications transmitting data to one another. JSON is a lightweight data format that makes it easy for both humans and computers to understand. It was originally derived from the JavaScript programming language, but now it's totally language independent, meaning that no matter what technology or programming language you use, JSON can be understood. Most no-code tools, if not all of them, utilize the JSON data format to communicate data from one service to another. You can think of JSON as a universal data format, like a shared vocabulary that allow applications to easily communicate with one another, just like a country's native language. When everyone arrives to a specific country, like the United States, our language here is English, so everyone agrees upon communicating to each other in the English language. Similarly, for applications, all applications agree to use the JSON data format to communicate data to one another. As I mentioned, JSON is a simple concept to understand, so let's start exploring what a JSON object looks like. Imagine you have a toolbox, and inside of it, you have compartments for organizing various items. Each compartment of that toolbox represents a key value pair in JSON. The key acts as the label for a specific compartment, and the value represents what's inside that compartment. For example, let's say we have a toolbox that represents a person's information, like say a user of our application. Ideally, we would have compartments or keys that are named name, age, and city. The value inside each compartment represents the name, age, and city of that person. A key can also be known as a property. Additionally, if we wanted to get just one step more complex, JSON allows us to nest objects or arrays under one another. Think of it as having smaller compartments within larger compartments, and this enables us to organize more data into smaller components in a hierarchical manner. For instance, within our person's toolbox, we can have a key called hobbies. And since a person can have more than one hobby, we can associate this key with an array of hobbies that are represented as strings. This array acts as kind of a mini toolbox that contains more than one hobby. Notice how our JSON object here has a field called hobbies, and it's mapped to an array of strings that contain a person's hobby. I hope this analogy of a toolbox allowed you to visually represent how a JSON object organizes data. JSON objects can be very simple, or they can be extremely large. If you can grasp onto this concept of key value pairs for JSON objects, I promise you will be very successful in manipulating data from within any no-code application.